Hey guys, we're going to be taking a look at Ziggs and the Runes and Masteries that I am using for him. Now, there's multiple ways you can do your Runes and Masteries for Ziggs. The way that I'm currently doing it is I'm relying on blue from my jungler because junglers are usually very nice and they will give the AP mid blue, and then sometimes they're assholes and they don't. But you know what? Majority of the time, you seem to get it. So, for Ziggs, what I'm doing currently is I've got the ability power glyphs, which give me roughly 9 ability power from those. And then under my seals, I'm taking magic resist so that I'm not being raped so hard by the enemy AP carry. Um, just a note with the magic resist. It is actually better to take the magic resist in blues, which is your glyphs, but because I'd rather have more ability power than more magic resist, I take magic resist inside of my seals. So you do end up losing quite a bit of magic resist. It's like 1 or 2-ish, but it's still magic resist. It's better than taking armor since armor is going to be useless. Um, if you are if you have multiple rune pages though, and you can build multiple rune pages for your AP characters, I would put armor in one of these instead, just in case you're going to be fighting like a Pantheon or something retarded like that. Um, I've had it happen before. It's kind of shitty. Um, then moving on to marks, of course, you want magic penetration. You cannot not have magic penetration. Getting almost 9 magic pen out of your marks is insane. And then finally, my quintessences. I pick up the ability power one, so the greater quintessences of potency, and that gives me about 15 ability power. So in total, I'm rocking 24 ability power before we get into masteries. So you're starting off the game with a pretty nice edge, although most AP characters do start off with quite a bit of ability power too, so it's not that big of an edge, I guess. It's an edge, but it's not, you know. Like, if they have magic resist, then that kind of sucks, but at the same time, they might not be running magic resist, right? Who knows? Anyways, it's great to have it. It helps you CS a bit more. Ziggs is passive, which allows people to, or not people, I'm sorry. Whenever he has like a 12-second timer on his passive, and every time 12 seconds happens, or when you use an ability, it takes 4 seconds off of that cooldown, it adds additional magic damage to his auto attack. So, with the extra ability power, you've got better harassing potential with your auto attack. It also helps you get those CS, even though you really shouldn't be attacking the creeps until they're extremely low. And, of course, it also helps your Q since your Q is amazing. And then, oh, just, you know, fun stuff all around. Moving on to masteries. Oh, actually, before we do that, if your jungler is being a greedy son of a bitch, and you know he's going to be being a greedy son of a bitch, or you don't want to take the chance, take cooldown reduction in your glyphs. Cooldown reduction is insane on Ziggs. It's like a must-have. I go CDR boots for that reason. And of course, for these, you're going to want to go with a mana regen seal. I personally use the Greater Seal of Clarity, put 9 of those in for the 1.2 mana regen per 5, and of course, you want to stick with the ability power quints. You could go CDR quints, I guess, but I think the 15 ability power outweighs the CDR you'd be getting from the quintessences, so definitely go ability power with those, and then of course your magic penetration with your marks. Finally, let's move on to the masteries. So, masteries plus Ziggs equals... Oh my god, where'd my Ziggs masteries go? Alright, they're just called ability power. So, as far as ability power masteries go with me, I like to play a little defensive where I'm getting the 6 magic resist. Some people don't get it, but I do. It's nice to have that extra ability to stay in the lane a bit longer than the other AP carry if they don't take the talent, because you're going to be taking less damage from them, which is always good. Because then if you're getting them down lower than your... If their HP is lower than yours, they might be in a little bit of a scary position. Um, in the utility tree, I like to pick up the Summoner's Insight talent in the first tier, because as you can see, it reduces your cooldown on Flash by 15 seconds, and I do take Flash on him. Um, I've seen some people actually take Flash Telly on him. I don't think that's the best idea, honestly. Early game, it can help you a bit, like if you're getting to lanes or if you're going to go gank somewhere, because his ulti does have only about a third of the map distance. Teleport's got its uses, but I do think it's better to just go with Ignite, which is why I take this talent over here in offense. But keeping on with the utility tree, Expanded Mind for the extra mana per level. 12 extra mana every time you level up is just insane, okay? Fucking Ziggs, he has such mana problems early on, and even later on, his mana problems are insane if he doesn't have a blue. It's such an amazing talent. If you're not taking it, you are doing it wrong. And then finally, because Ziggs has one of the lowest base movement speeds in the game, I just put a point into swiftness because really, there's nowhere else I can put this point. I mean, I guess I could pick up armor. I guess I could pick up reduced damage. I guess I could pick up this even though it's useless, but right there, that's your money. It's not that much, but it helps. Moving on to the actual tree that you should be specking most of your talent points in. Offense, of course. In the tier 1, we're taking Summoner's Wrath, so that you're getting 5 ability power when your Ignite's on cooldown. That's increasing all of your abilities. It's awesome. Because of this, I usually use Ignite very early on to do some damage to the enemy AP carry, usually level 2 or 3-ish. It helps. I'm taking the +4 ability power, so including that 24 ability power that I've got in runes, I've got another 4, so that's 28. I'm almost rocking 30 ability power at level 1. That is intense, yo. We're taking the cooldown reduction in the second tier because, as I said before, CDR on Ziggs is fucking insane. Like, you get that Q down to a couple of seconds and you are doing some mad deeps, yo. Mad deeps. Also, his ulti, it's a it's a pretty short cooldown. It's 2 minutes, but the CDR, very nice because you can get that down quite a bit. You can get it down at like a minute and 15 seconds or whatever it is, and that is just ridiculous. If you can get 40% CDR, which you should have with blue and, other fun stuff. Moving on, though. Arcane Knowledge in Tier 3, we're taking that for the 10% magic penetration, so you're actually starting the game off with like 19% magic penetration. Intense. We're taking Havoc for the 1.5% increased damage dealt, of course. Moving on to the 4th tier, we're taking an ability power per level, so 29 ability power Ziggs is starting the game off with. Well, roughly 29, because the Riot client rounds up, or I should say the logon client, or whatever, lobby client, whatever you want to call it, it rounds up. Meanwhile, in game, it rounds down. I think. I don't know. Maybe it just doesn't show the decimals. I haven't looked into that. An ability power per level is intense. Every AP carry should be taking that. If you're not taking that, you're a moron. Moving on to Tier 5. Increased ability power by 5%. Nothing more has to be said about that. If you don't take that talent, you are a derp. And finally, we take Executioner, which is the 21-point talent inside of the Offensive Mastery tree, and that's going to increase your damage dealt by 6% to targets below 40% health. So it's pretty much like Killshot on a Hunter in World of Warcraft, except Killshot's below 20% health and Killshot's overpowered. It's nice, but it's not that OP. Later on, though, it kind of helps out, I suppose. So, Flux, how do you build Ziggs? For Ziggs, I like to build 2 to 3 Doran's Ring in the beginning. It kind of depends on how awesome I'm being. Like, if I can get a kill pretty early on, I'm only going to go 2 Doran's Rings because I want to start building my more epic items. But if the middle lane seems to be, kind of a just chill lane that game, I'm going to go for the 3rd Doran's Ring because it's going to give me the extra sustain to stay in the lane longer. It's also going to give me more HP, so I'm fighting better. And, of course, who doesn't want more ability power, right? You can always sell them also afterwards for like 238 gold or whatever, so it's a good investment to lane better, that's for sure. You definitely want at least 2 Doran's Rings, though. You want to get boots afterwards. I have actually done 2 Doran's boots and then another Doran's. I think once you get your boots, though, you should probably just stop buying the Doran's Ring, so do that. Ziggs, like I said before, is an extremely slow character, so you want those boots. Rylai's Crystal Scepter is pretty epic on him. Deathcap, you definitely want a Deathcap. Deathcap should be one of your next items after the Dorans and the boots. For boots, I do build them into CDR boots. I don't get the CDR boots immediately, though. But when we get closer to that, everybody's sort of like running around the map like crazy lunatics phase in games. I like to get the CDR boots then because I'm doing a lot of running around. If I'm fighting a Cassi, though, in the lane, I do want to pick up the level 2 boots pretty soon. So Deathcap after, Rylai is incredible on him. It's fucking ridiculous, Rylai's. You've already got a slow with your E, but that just gives you an extra slow on all of your shit. So, Rylai's for the win, guys. And, of course, you cannot go wrong with a Will of the Ancients. Sometimes I've actually built Will of the Ancients before my Deathcap, depending on how the lane's going. Like, if I'm doing pretty good, but at the same time I keep getting low on HP, I like to build Will of the Ancients. Make sure you let your team know, though, if you're building a Will of the Ancients so no one else does. If you're the only AP on your team, I wouldn't buy it. But if you do have, like a support that's AP, which most are, or if you happen to have like an AP top or your jungle's Fiddlesticks or even Maokai, I suppose, since Maokai can get some benefit out of that, then definitely try to pick that up. Your support's probably not going to be picking that item up. I know some supports will pick stuff up like that, but majority don't. I personally don't get one of those unless I'm extremely fed as a support. There's just better items out there for the support character to carry around, and if we really need a Will of the Ancients, one of our AP people should be picking that up. So that's pretty much that. Um, Rylai's is just incredible on him, though. You definitely want one in your build. Deathcap, of course. If you don't have a Deathcap on an AP carry, you're doing it wrong. So, guys, this has been my Ziggs, Runes, and Masteries, and also my build. So, let me know what you think. Ziggs is so much goddamn fun. I gotta start playing him more and more and more. I've had a couple of really bad games with him because people are just bad. Unfortunately, you can't carry all the games, right? Just people refuse to help you sometimes, and it's like, hey, there's two people at top for the past 5 minutes, and I'm top laning because we put Talon in mid for whatever reason. Oh yeah, because he could counter Morgana. So it's unfortunate that I've had some really bad games with Ziggs because of my team. But hey, League of Legends is a team game, and this video is already way too long, so thank you for watching. Like I said, comments and shit in the video, please, they are all welcome. If you like what you see, subscribe, top corner, left of the video, and thanks for watching. Oh wait, I believe I already said that. Peace, guys.